Okay, you know what, that's it. Fine. I concede. I give up. For the past month, I've basically been sitting around writing scripts to give my opinion on the Halo Infinite preview, and I'm honestly just stumped. Was the preview good? Was it bad? Brilliant. So where the bloody hell do we go with that? Being serious for a moment, I am actually incredibly stuck with what to actually say about the Halo Infinite preview. In some ways, it was absolutely fantastic. The weapons felt good, the Spartans looked great, and the sound design was just out of this world. It's never been this good in a Halo title. But on the other hand, the game felt a little bit off. It didn't feel like it was intended for the console audience, and it really just felt at times like a poorly made port. So today I'm going to be going in, giving some of my feedback, and just addressing a few concerns. So let's get into today's video. So with my previous videos, I've commented on things like the main menu, so I want to try avoid repeating myself. I will quickly just go over what I said. Basically, the menu looks good, the music is great, the Spartans, the background and layout, it is all really well done on the main menu fronts. However, there are two new things which were added, which is the gun range and the bot testing area, which I'm not too sure if I've already gone over. The gun range is much better than what I expected. See, going into a new Halo game where almost all the weapons are different, it kind of does require a little bit of a recap. The gun range does this really well and allows you just to see how good some of the weapons are and how best to use them. Also the way which your targets are actual Spartans and how they move, sometimes just standing still, sometimes just crouching every now and again, and sometimes literally doing some of the best strafing we've seen. Well, it actually allows you to get better with your aim and learn how each gun should be used. I quickly began learning how each of the new weapons worked, and for people who haven't played a Halo title before, or maybe even a first person shooter before, this actually allows you to get warmed up and learn how to use the weapons. It also allowed me to see how good the weapons were and which one I should try and pick up for different situations. The bot training was also pretty decent as well. You can select the weapons you want, toggle invincibility if you like, and just play with the weapons available to you. It's honestly pretty fun, and it can actually allow you to train against bots to get yourself to be at a better standard, which I really do like. The only trouble is the bots don't seem to be able to drive vehicles, which, I mean, thinking back to Halo Reach and Cat's driving, that's probably a good thing, but yeah, for some reason the bots can't drive vehicles, which feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. Now, the other thing which we was actually able to do was play with the customization. Customize our Spartans, play with some of the different helmets, the attachments, but the colours really had me at a loss. Yeah, of course we're going on to shaders. I really dislike shaders, and I really like them in other ways. They could have been implemented so much better. However, you get some basic colours, so you get things like your blues, your reds, your maroons, I don't know if there was a purple one, but you get your different colours and you can use those as your starting colours. Or you can grind in the pass, and if you grind to the max rank in this pass, you get the amazing colours of blue and yellow. Seriously, the shader system sucks. It's just so bad, and it doesn't help that the fact that it's been monetized as well. I said that I was going to do this, and we actually got to see it firsthand, where there was different shaders locked behind the paid store. Wow, if you want to get this shader, you have to pay real money. I cannot wait. I mean, you know that some of the best colours are just going to be locked behind a paywall, and that's worse than Halo 5, where you had to unlock different things like, oh yeah, you unlocked this helmet because you opened the pack. At least you grinded for that pack. This, you just spend real money. You spend real money to have armor colours. That's so bad, it's so ridiculous. At the very least, I will say that the armor looks good, the attachments looks good, but it's just the colour of it is a pretty important detail. I mean, you could have the best armor in the world, but if you're going to be a bright fluorescent pink, then, you know, it kind of sucks. Not only that, but you don't actually seem to be able to play as a female Spartan. And this is quite interesting because I actually brought this up on the forums, and I think they might be adding different body types as monetization as well. Can't confirm that, but they was going on about more body types being added. Now, I'll try and be fair with this. What they decided to do is, rather than have male and female Spartan models, they've got basically 3 male models, but they're saying they're 3 gender neutral models. Now, the reason why I say that they're male models is because they only have a male voice line attached to them. And you could say, well, of course, maybe a woman could sound like a man. However, one of the voices, and I'm going to do my best attempt to impersonate it, it sounds like this. And whenever they shout or mark an enemy, it goes, "Enemy there!" And I don't really think that that's too much of a female voice or a gender neutral voice. I mean, at this point, I just find it funny because 343 Industries basically goes and say, right, we want to make this game as inclusive as possible. by excluding women and attacking men who bring attention to it. It's like, how did you get there? Like, I'm just done with it. Honestly, I am. I'm sick of 343 Industries including their politics in the game. And the only point which I will bring up, because there will be people who object to it and say, oh, you should be more inclusive to these people. I don't think the way that you're more inclusive is by excluding women from the game. Like, to me, that just makes sense. But as 343 Industries has said, I'm a man, so I can't comment on women's issues. So that's good. Good job, 343 Industries. But let's actually move away from the politics which 343 Industries forcibly inject into the game, and let's actually talk about the multiplayer, because that's really what I want to talk about. Multiplayer for me was a bit of a mixed bag. We had 4 arena maps. We had Bazaar, Behemoth, Live Fire and Recharge. Starting off with the worst arena map, at least in my opinion, we have Bazaar. Now, it is bizarre that you might like this map over the other ones, that's all I can say. It is incredibly simple, it doesn't have many tricks to it. I'm pretty sure there's a small area on Rocket side where you can basically vent, so you can be an imposter if you want to. I never actually got to use it personally, but that just shows how many little hidden little nooks and crannies there are on the maps, which is pretty decent to be honest. But overall, I felt that the map was very basic, and yeah, it looks really decent, but CTF on this map was awful, which is probably why it's rated as my worst multiplayer map so far. I think next we'd have to have Behemoth, which is the massive open one, which is really decent for a change to the arena format, but oh my god, against PC players this map is not good at all. Obviously I'm a controller player, so going against PC players is going to be difficult, especially as it turned out the Series X didn't have any aim assist. Oh wow, that's fun, 343 Industries, thanks for breaking that. But honestly, Behemoth is such a good map. I love the fact that you got vehicles on there, but oh my god, it's awful against PC players. They can just zone in on you with the increased range and you can't do anything against them. Then you've got Live Fire, which is a map which I didn't think was too bad. It's probably the most balanced out of all the maps, but it was certainly fun and I really did like it. And then, of course, we have Recharge. I really loved holding the inside area and just booping people off the map. Strongholds was so good, Slayer was really good. This map to me was everything that we wanted this map to be, and kind of reminds me of Halo 5 maps, to be honest. It's really good, really fun. Now, I did quickly mention the controller versus mouse and keyboard issue. Quickly going into that, we cannot turn off crossplay, and that's a really bad feature. You need to be able to turn off crossplay. Maybe that was just because of the flights, but the game really feels like it's so much better if you play on mouse and keyboard. At least it looks that way. You seem to be able to react so much better, and it just looks so good compared to what a controller player can do, and that's unfortunate, especially the fact that you can't turn it off. Some maps, as I mentioned, were really unplayable because the controller didn't have much aim assist, and when they did turn up the aim assist for different people, basically people were complaining. You had people in the forums on PC who were saying that the aim assist was too high, even when the aim assist was not working for most people. So it really does seem like it's going to be a shitty experience for the controller community. And as I'm part of that, that's going to kind of suck. It really just does not blend well, the mouse and keyboard versus controller, but yeah, that's something which I really wanted to touch on. Now, do not get me wrong, there would be some really fun matches, but I found that those fun matches were basically against people who was on controller as well. It was controller teammates, controller enemies, and those matches you could really do well and have fun. But as soon as somebody plugged in a mouse and keyboard, yeah, they could just win really. It was so much easier for them. And I was looking at people like Hidden Xperia who aren't really good on their own. Went up against them again, and they was on keyboard and mouse, and they was doing so much better because of that. And to me, that just really makes it stand out. This is a bit of an issue for the controller community, and since I'm part of the controller community, yeah, just give us the option to turn off crossplay. We don't want it on. Or at the very least, input-based matchmaking. Now, I'd quickly like to go on to some of the weapons, and I would like to put a disclaimer out there that some of the weapons felt like they was just so tailored towards a mouse and keyboard audience. Really, quite a few of the weapons overall did not feel that good. The sidekick pistol, it felt strong, but it felt like button mashing to get a kill. The shock rifle felt incredibly unreliable at points, and it didn't really arc as well as it should do or damage opponents when arcing. It's also incredibly annoying to have the shock rifle EMP you halfway across the map. Like, what gives? That's really bad for vehicles. The bulldog shotgun doesn't kill in one shot, which makes it a little bit less satisfying when compared to older shotguns. The sniper, whilst it sounds great, doesn't seem to work too well. I can't really put my finger on it, but it just doesn't really work too well with aiming. I'm not too sure what's going on with that, but it just feels off. The plasma pistol might as well not even be in the game. It basically overcharges overcharges shields, but it doesn't do the EMP effect anymore, so it just feels kind of useless, especially as you can dodge the overcharged shot really easily. The Disruptor is really weak against players. I guess it can be used against vehicles, but I didn't get the luxury of being able to use it for that purpose, so it just seemed really weak. It also is less iconic than the Plasma Pistol Overcharge, which we don't have in the game. I just mentioned that, but I just want to mention it again, because how did you not include that 343 Industries? The sword is also missing multiple sound effects, and the gravity hammer doesn't send enemies flying like it should do. The Ravager's alternate fire mode is incredibly weak and almost not worth using at all. It barely kills your enemies. Also, the regular fire generally goes under the opponent's legs and misses, which makes it just really unreliable. It should have been caught in testing, and I have no idea how they didn't, because I caught it like the first time using it in the weapons training area. The Heatwave also feels like it should be better, and I mean, I could go on about all of these, but you guys probably get the picture. Half the weapons feel like they need tuning and about 10% feel like they're not working correctly at all. Don't get me wrong, the assault rifle is viable, the battle rifle is brilliant, the commando is surprisingly fun, the rockets are the best they've ever been, the skewer is really fun, rewarding and skillful, the pulse carbine is also so good, and the new weapons still seem awesome from what we've actually been able to see. I haven't been able to get hands-on experience of all of them, but yeah, the vehicles are brilliant as well, and the equipment? Oh baby, the equipment. The grapple is arguably the best addition, but the repulsor sometimes stealing the show as well. The shield wall is kind of meh, especially when compared to the bubble shield which we had in Halo 3. The thrusters are alright, the threat sensor is okay. Overshield doesn't really deploy fast enough. I think it should deploy a little bit faster, otherwise you get killed before you can even use it. And active camo also probably can use a buff, because I think you appear on the radar even if you're moving with active camo. It's a little bit weird. Vehicles are incredibly good, they're really strong, however they seem to get hijacked all too often, which is frustrating when you enter a Wasp only for it to be skyjacked straight from you. Overall we have some brilliant additions, but even things like the tank can get hijacked really easily, and it just does not feel too good. Also Dynamo Grenades. Oh my god, I needed these in my life and I never knew! They're really annoying to vehicles, but they're so much fun. I think ultimately I did have fun during the preview, but there was glaring faults which kind of ruined the experience. There's also minor things like auto clamber. You need to turn that off because it just gets you killed, but when you do turn it off, clamber doesn't work like it should do, so it is kind of iffy. You need to press the A button right at the moment you want to clamber rather than hold it like you could in Halo 5. If a fix could be done on that, then that's absolutely brilliant. Actually, thinking about it, I never mentioned BTB as well, and fragmentation. BTB was really a redeeming quality for Halo Infinite, because otherwise I would not be hyped about it at all. It was just PTB, 12v12 action, loads of vehicles, so much fun, and you know what, I also like those weapon caches. That was really fun as well. It would have been nice to see another map, but that's getting a little bit too picky. And we also received a campaign video which just came out really, so that was awesome, and I would like to make a video dedicated on that, but my schedule is just all over the place at the moment. All will be revealed because there's some really decent updates coming out for the channel very soon. But my thoughts on Halo Infinite preview about a month later, I think it was pretty decent, but there were some really glaring faults as I've gone over in this video. Hopefully I provided some insight into what my views are, and hopefully you guys who requested it are happy, even though it came out really late. I do apologise. Thanks for watching the video guys, and we will see you in the next one, but leave a comment before you leave. Tell me what you thought of the preview. Thanks for watching and peace out.